Definitely. Even though it was the Dragon Warrior there from Tansoku, the Dragon Warrior does pretty reasonably against the Warrior, or excuse me, against the Freeze Mage because of the Ragan there. We are getting into the first match. We have Tansoku on the bottom there from Japan, playing from Korea actually. We have NaviOOT on the top, playing from Singapore. And we are going to get into it. It is Tansoku with, this is an aggro shaman, and he's going to go against the totem shaman, basically, the mid-range totem shaman here of NaviOOT.
Yeah, and it's going to be, you know, a matchup that, again, just hasn't been too common, too recently at least, just because, you know, the power of mid-range shaman variants has just been so strong, even post-patch of all the nerfs coming out. It's not really seen too many people favor the aggressive line, but looks like Tansoku is off to a pretty good start already, whereas NaviOOT doesn't have anything too crazy to do at this moment in time.
You know, Raven, I just noticed that in our first cast together, we have a shaman mirror.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. You know, I enjoy this specific mirror, D2, when I'm casting with anyone else that isn't me, it seems. When I'm not casting with myself. Yeah, and it looks like, I don't know if NaviOOT has a couple of issues, actually.
I think he's just kind of tilting. He's like, really, you're roping turn 2 with an aggro? But Tansoku is just realizing, he's thinking about all the possibilities for damage here. Actually places the Flame Tongue Totem on the left. I suppose if he plays the Arch and Horse Rider next turn, which he's kind of committed to doing, it doesn't really matter about the positioning. But,
yeah, it's interesting to me to just see NaviOOT so expressive so early. Normally, this kind of emotion takes a while to kick in, not like turn 2 game 1 of the series. So, you know, he already seems to be very active and trying to stem the tide. He's already starting to stack up by Tansoku, who is piling on the pressure, putting NaviOOT to 23, and this is kind of awkward. And at last, NaviOOT draws into a Totem Golem, and he has the Squire as well, so he's got some way to try and fight back with this board, but not going to have the Maelstrom Portal or the Lightning Storm available to him now. Has actually favored the Hero Power this turn, so he can guarantee getting the thing from below out if he needs to next turn.
Yeah, and it's just so important to get, you know, the totems out there. Obviously, the Totem Golem is one, but it kind of prevents him from doing a lot of things next turn. And he's seen that Tansoku is already respecting the totems. I was about to ask you about that, Raven, because Tansoku really needs to go face at some point, right? He really needs to just kill them. And if every single one of these totems acts like a taunt, then he's going to have a hard time doing so.
Yeah, it's kind of just amplified the power of the mid-range shaman list. The totems are just by themselves somehow. It's just a 2-mana hero power. It's extremely powerful. And you can see already Tansoku there respecting that spell power totem, specifically as that is pretty much the most powerful one he can get out of the 4 because of cards like Maelstrom Portal and the, you know, relying more on the even more powerful Lightning Storm.
Yeah, Lightning Storm. Also the Spirit Claws as well, which we have NaviOOT running 2 of, I believe.
I would be amazed if he didn't.
Right. Well, we do have some players not running them. For instance, Tansoku obviously is playing the aggressive variant, but he's not running them. Just taking a look at their decks right now.
Yeah, and I also just love this list in general from NaviOOT. I love the Witch Doctor version. Just to really start going wide. Taunt Totem. Look at NaviOOT there already. Just like,
thank you.
Taunt Totem, got him. Excuse me, perfect. And even the Squire getting the buffed up there to be able to take down that Flame Tongue. It's going to greatly reduce the options there for Tansoku, but you know, there's a pretty good option on 5, D2. Doomhammer.
Absolutely. And the thing is, NaviOOT says, you know, you're going to kill all my totems. Here's a bunch of them. I don't think that Tansoku can really even pay attention to this board anymore.
He doesn't need to. He has a Doomhammer and Lava Burst.
A lot of damage. And there's no healing in Shaman. There's pseudo-healing, right? There's your totems, which are very dangerous if you leave alive, but you know, pseudo-healing isn't real healing, right? And so Tansoku can just kind of go face here, I believe. Yeah,
the totems themselves are way more of a threat when you're either even or ahead on board, and you have those AoEs to really, you know, pile down your opponent's board and then get ahead with just the sheer volume of totems you have. But we do see Tansoku respect the Witch and doesn't want to potentially generate multiple versions of the Taunt Totem, for example.
Right, and the big thing there is that Tansoku is respecting basically Bloodlust, which is in NaviOOT's list, right? You leave one board up and you can actually just die in one turn to Bloodlust. And so yeah, Tansoku is saying, you know what, I have enough damage over the long run. You're going to have a tough time getting back on this board as long as I keep clearing enough. He didn't go so far as to clear the healing totem, but he cleared everything, or most of the other stuff on the board. So it makes it so that NaviOOT can't really take advantage of that quite yet and gives Tansoku a bit more time to eventually go face.
Yeah, the ancestral knowledge is just key in being able to keep the juices flowing up for Tansoku, being able to continue to draw cards going forward. And
wow, that is a good one drop to get if you are NaviOOT. Just get that damage in. At this point, he is actually going to have to start racing here, so getting that extra damage. And you can see how emotional NaviOOT is already. He's just, you know, this is really important and really wants to go to BlizzCon.
Yeah, the thing that's going to be super important for NaviOOT here, you know, clearly being greatly affected by this game, you know, visibly anyway, and as long as that he can make that work for him, as opposed to let it stress him out too much, you know, like I think that's the key, because there's some highly like visible emotional players that, you know, kind of use it to their advantage.
Right, looks like Tansoku is going to go for the ancestral knowledge into Eternal Sentinel. What was his first thought here, at least. Just trying to get, you know, all of the discounts that you can get on the Eternal Sentinel. He's running into a lot of damage. The question is, he needs, I think he's counting how quick he's going to die, but that is pretty huge. I think it's going to be Eternal Sentinel, probably the Tunnel Trog, just to make NaviOOT deal with it. You know, there's no real totem synergy in the deck of Tansoku. So yeah, I feel like he can just go face here. I don't know if he can really afford to respect these totems anymore. Yes, he might die to some sort of bloodlust, you know, shenanigans, but you know, he's running out of time, I feel like.
He might be a little bit better playing Totem this turn.
Right.
So next turn he can play Trog, Lava Burst if he really wants to, because you can't kill him next turn unless he gets unless the Spell Power Totem somehow survives, which is more than likely not going to happen. Because if NaviOOT didn't trade into Spell Power Totem on his turn coming up, I would be frankly amazed.
Well, he can actually kill him with his Doom Hammer as long as there's no taunt. Keep in mind that NaviOOT can hex his own minion, but you know, NaviOOT's just running through all these roadblocks. He has to kill off every single minion here. Picks up the Manatide Totem, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be Totem as well as a Thing from Below and one of his totems here. So that is the taunt that we're looking at, but still under a lot of pressure as NaviOOT has to clear again every single minion that hits the board.
Yep, really getting to the point. And it's just the power of Doomhammer in the threat, right? You just know it's guaranteed damage every turn, as you said, unless you can throw up a taunt to try and defend. But with two with two Lava Bursts,
he's dead if he doesn't kill the Tunnel Trog.
Yeah, the extra
he's thinking,
overload.
can I afford to kill this? I need the damage to face. I need to race him as quickly as possible, excuse me. And he does make the correct decision and kill it off, because double Lava Burst means 5 attack Tunnel Trog. And does he pick up the Taunt Totem? Does not get it. Searing Totem. Not going to do it for him. He is not dead quite yet, but getting close.
Yep, the Manatide really helping out there. Does that change anything?
Well, the most damage he can do right now is double Lava Burst anyway, and so that means that he has 9 damage to face. If he goes for Lava Burst plus Argent Horse Rider and Lava Shock, that puts him, that's 8 damage to face. It guarantees a clear. And in fact, since he has so much damage, he can maybe clear one of the minions here and just rely on the Lava Burst to face. Like for instance, he can go Argent Horse Rider face and then Lava Shock, maybe the Searing Totem, just to get one more minion off the board. That could be 4 damage, you know, if it's Bloodlust.
Yeah, and I definitely think we'll see the Argent Horse Rider come down.
Oh, excuse me, he doesn't have the mana for that. My mistake.
Yeah, I think we'll see the Argent Horse Rider purely because there's no taunt. So get the minion down first that can do the damage to face this turn, then just end the game with Lava Burst, Lava Shock next turn.
Okay, so because I made a mistake in our calculations here, we have to recalculate. If he goes face here and gets him down to 7, then he still needs damage to face, or else if he runs into a taunt, he could be in trouble. Right. So
yeah, well, this will be fine. He has Lava Burst, Lava Shock.
Right. Okay.
Right? Yeah. So he goes Horse Rider into face to avoid the threat of a taunt.
I think he Horse Riders into the Searing Totem actually. I think he's gonna Horse Rider into the Searing Totem. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
All right. Well, 2 mistakes make a correct one, I guess, since I really botched that. But it doesn't really matter here. NaviOOT doesn't have Bloodlust anyway, so this game is going to be over. NaviOOT's gonna obviously play it out, but he doesn't know that it's burden to the face coming from Tansoku's hand next turn.
Yeah, even without, although he has a relatively, or at least reasonably strong board, it's just not going to be enough when there's still the Doomhammer active for almost a guaranteed 4 to face. And it's not really asking much for the Shaman to be able to draw into more burn. There's still, you know, Lightning Bolts in the deck. There's still even Finley to swap the hero power, for example. So there's so much available. And also, Tansoku runs Elemental Destruction, which
he does.
is pretty huge, or could have been huge in this matchup in terms of resetting the board in his favor.
All right, gets the Blood Mage Soundless. NaviOOT, basically this turn, he was just trying to think of how greedy, essentially, he can be here. And so, you know, he was just thinking, I need to take a risk. Obviously, we know he's dead, but he's going to hex one of his minions here. I'm curious to see which one he does. Obviously, this game is over, but I wonder which one he values the least here.
All right, he's going for the Thanos. By the looks of things, doesn't really care about the card draw too much. He does have the Manatide already on the board, and you know, everything else does more damage, basically. So if, you know, you do need to, if you think you're going to survive, you do need to end the game. But a swift nod from NaviOOT there.